What's going on, everyone? It's Sean Mitchell, Denver real estate agent with Co-Listings, and I'm coming at you with a market update for October 2019. I'll cover several topics today that will catch you up to speed on how the real estate market is going in the Denver metro area. I'll first start with days on market, then months of housing inventory for single-family homes, then number of new listings and sale prices, as well as mortgage rates for 10-year and 12-month, and the Denver area unemployment rate. The overall hot take on the real estate market right now is that we're definitely moving into the slower season of the year. Typically, the fall and winter are the slowest months, so houses are sitting longer. You're seeing more price drops. And I'd say that anecdotally, I'm definitely seeing this in the outskirts and the suburbs the most. So everything that's outside of the 470 ring, I'm seeing houses sit on the market a little bit longer. I've seen my listings do that. We've had to drop the price a little bit. Stuff that's central Denver, I tend to see it move faster. There's a little bit more of a demand for central Denver for one reason or another. But keep in mind, that's very anecdotal, and I'm always cautious about basing my opinions just on my personal experience. It's important to dive into the data, which is exactly what we're about to do. So the median cumulative days on market for the Denver metro area is 16 days. That's a 14.29% increase month over month and a 23.08% increase year over year. This essentially means that it is taking a little bit longer, both when we look at the month over month change as well as the year over year change. And you can see that when we scale back about 5 years, this is a very typical time where things are sitting for a little bit longer. You can see that the peaks of the market are in the winter time, somewhere around December and January, and the trough or the valley of the market is definitely in the summertime. Months of housing inventory for single-family homes is 2 months, and that's a 0% change both month over month and year over year. This is a big one for me, as I've mentioned in previous videos. When I start seeing this jump up to 3, 4, 5 months of inventory, it's going to tell me that we're in a larger market shift. As for now, this is still very, very tight. The Denver metro area has a tight market when you look at the big picture. You can look back all the way to 2011 and you see that that was the very bottom of the real estate market. It gradually continued to go down in inventory, and since 2014, we've been teeter-tottering back and forth between 1 month and 2 months of inventory since. Now, this looks very, very normal to me for a very tight market. What does this mean for you who are watching this? Well, if you're considering selling your house, you're probably going to be in a good position. There's not as much of a fierce market as there used to be maybe 2-3 years ago. And if you are in the market to buy a house, this just means that you're going to have to be a little bit more patient, especially during these slower winter months. There's not as much inventory on the market. Again, when we start seeing things creep up above 2 months of inventory to 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I'm going to sound the alarm a little bit more. As for now, this is still very, very much a seller's market. Number of new listings for September 2019 was 3,591 homes. Month over month, that's a 7.04% drop and a drop of 1.78% year over year. Less homes on the market as a buyer means less to pick from, and as a seller, it means less competition. But also keep in mind that since it is the slower part of the annual season, you're not going to have as much of a buyer's frenzy for putting offers on your house, generally speaking. Median sale price, $446,200. And this is a 0.22% drop month over month and an increase of 3.37% year over year. So that 3+% increase year over year is definitely positive. I'm very encouraged to see that year over year, the home values are growing. That's great if you're a homeowner. And if you're a home buyer, it means that little by little each year, you're going to have to pay just slightly more. The other thing that I'll mention about this median sale price is that that growth year over year is not as staggering or significant as it used to be. 2-3 years ago, we were probably seeing 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12% year-over-year growth. So it is quieting down a little bit. Generally speaking, this is really good for a balanced market. Previously, it was very much a seller's market, but now it's getting a little bit more favorable for buyers as that year-over-year growth begins to taper off. Mortgage rates, according to Freddie Mac, for the 30-year fixed is 3.64%, the 15-year fixed 3.16%, and the 5/1 adjustable 3.38%. Again, generally speaking, we've seen some very, very good interest rates. You do see over on the right-hand side of this chart that it has taken a slight uptick. However, under 4% is really, really good. And you can see when we scale back a little bit and we look at that 10-year, we began to see a drop in interest rates late last year, and it's been falling ever since. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Big picture macroeconomics in the U.S., it sounds like maybe some of these federal interest rates are going to drop again, which could impact the mortgage interest rates too. When I talk with some of my mortgage friends, they seem to be in similar consensus about interest rates for homes, for mortgages, getting better and dropping a little bit more. So if you have an existing house and you bought at a higher interest rate and you've been in that home for a little while, it might make sense to reach out to a lender and see about refinancing and reducing that monthly payment. If you need a recommendation for a lender, you're welcome to reach out to me either in the comments or by sending me a text or a phone call at the number that you see bottom right. And at the end of this video, I'm happy to help make a best recommendation for you. Unemployment rate for the Denver metro area is at 2.6%. That's a drop of 3.7% month over month and a 21.21% year over year drop. Holy smokes, I had to double check that stat because that's a big drop year over year. This time of year, the unemployment rate does traditionally take a tick up, which is why I was so impressed and surprised with this 21% drop in unemployment rate. What does that mean? It means that there's jobs available here in the Denver area. If you are outside of Denver or Colorado looking at this video and trying to consider if you want to make a move to the Denver area, you're probably in a pretty good position depending on your qualifications. It looks very, very good. And of course, unemployment rate being low means that there's jobs, which means that you can likely afford a house, depending on how much you make at that job, of course. That wraps up this market update for October 2019. My name is Sean Mitchell, Denver real estate agent with Co-Listings. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you're a regular, hit the like button, and I'll see everyone next month on next month's market update.